Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing us in there. Welcome to New Zealand's premier NFL podcast. New Zealand's only NFL podcast. Don't fact check that. I didn't. To my right is one of our analysts. Take it away.
Craig Donahue, NFL and gambling enthusiast. Enthusiast, all you have to do is do it a lot, don't have to be good at it, and that's what I do. Enthusiast.
Yep, he's definitely not good at it. So on my left is our other analyst.
My name is Grayson Hollick. I watch a lot of football. I enjoy football, and I'm the reigning fantasy champ, so that means I know shit.
So let's start off with the Friday game. Before we get into it, I will just say all of these times are going to be in New Zealand times.
Yeah.
Because there's plenty of podcasts that talk about what time the Thursday night game is, but if you watch in New Zealand, it's about midday.
And
us.
Also for these
from the future.
Yeah.
for these games as well, the odds that we haven't written down were from about a day ago or so. So the odds obviously will change as the week goes on, as new news comes out about players and who's starting, who's not starting, and injured and that sort of thing. But we're just going to run on our odds and what we've got written down here. So
just means we're right at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so first game, 12:15 tomorrow, New Zealand time, is Browns versus Steelers. Okay.
Friday game.
So anyway, that Friday game, Browns-Steelers. Steelers are 4.5 underdogs. They're the underdogs against the Browns here. I don't know if I agree with that too much. Browns allowed 309 passing yards against Joe Flacco. Don't get me wrong, Joe Flacco's not a horrible quarterback, but he's not a starting caliber quarterback. That's the reason he was a fucking backup, right? They did have a lot of rush yards. Their defense is pretty solid. I think Nick Chubb carries this, and no Jadeveon Clowney, I don't think, for this game. And the Steelers, I like the plus 4.5 here, to be honest. They should have beat the Pats. It was unlucky. Shit O-line. The offense kind of sucks. I think this is going to be a bit of a shit fight, to be honest. But I like the Steelers plus 4.5.
I mean, jumping on the back of the Joe Flacco thing, like, the way they ended that last game with those final drives, he hasn't had a game-winning drive since 2016.
Yeah, exactly.
The man's a bit washed. Sure, Super Bowl under his belt, whatever. Like, there's a reason he's been a backup for a while.
Yeah, exactly. You get rid of that kind of last few drives that they had, last quarter. If you get rid of the last 10 minutes of that, I think the Browns fucking smoked them. It's not even. Yeah, like I said, Steelers plus 4.5. I think that is a generous bet. And that's one of my locks of the week, actually. And we'll get into that later.
Okay.
Do you know what happened with that after the Browns game?
What was that?
So one of the players called a players meeting, which rarely happens this early in the season. And they pretty much told everyone to buck up their ideas and get shit sorted.
I mean, fair fucking enough. They should have
Was
lost.
that Browns or Steelers, sorry?
Yep, no, that was the Browns.
That's Browns.
Because they obviously just lost it all in the end.
Yeah.
And they have some solid components on their teams. Obviously, Myles Garrett's a fucking weapon.
Yeah.
Also,
he does need to step up.
He didn't need to step up. The good thing they had Clowney on one side and Garrett on the other side, so that was huge. But without Clowney on one side, that's going to struggle. I had a huge.
I'll just chime in there. So Clowney is confirmed out as of the latest injury report.
Yeah.
Minka Fitzpatrick is still in. He was a limited participant.
Yeah, I saw a few limited practices today from the Steelers, but I think they're going to be. I think all of them are going to be back. Najee Harris is going to be back. Like I said, I've one big problem with the Steelers, and this isn't necessarily about this game, but the season in general. I've told you boys about it a few times. Mitch Trubisky. He's not horrible. He's not bad. But when you drafted a quarterback as soon as they did, I think they were the first. Was it first quarterback? Can you pick it off the board? Was it surprising? Because it's surprising first back. I'm pretty sure. If you're going to go that deep and pick him that early, then start him. You got guys that are running out of their contract time, and yet you're not giving Pickett a chance to get a year's experience to have a good season next year. You got to set him up for the future, and they're not doing that. The difference between Trubisky and Pickett is maybe an 8-win season down to a 6-win season. I think the knowledge that he would get from playing this first year is huge, and he looked good in preseason. Like, put him in. That's
he's a Pitt boy, fucking ripping Pittsburgh. Like,
the
crowd's gonna love it.
Yeah.
It's gonna amp up the whole team, and like anytime they play at home, they're already shouting his name over and over again.
Yeah.
It's about time that Tomlin needs to sort that out.
They can learn. He can learn enough in the training from Trubisky. Trubisky can teach him during the week and get everything he needs to get. But at the end of the day, how much is he going to learn sitting on the bench watching Trubisky?
He's not exactly a Hall of Fame quarterback.
No, he's not a model QB. Like, it's silly. Sorry it took so long with that one, but anyway, I'm locking in Steelers plus 3.5.
I'm also
Generous.
I'm gonna back the Steelers. I reckon the old Watt special on the defensive
That's
line.
the thing.
It's gonna do the trick.
Is TJ Watt back?
No.
Is he not back
He's
yet?
not
No,
back?
TJ Watt's not back.
I still got
Oh, wait,
Steelers
actually.
there. He might be.
Let me find that out for you.
Okay, but anyway, I'm still going
Because
Steelers
like,
there.
if they have that front end on lock, like as long as they can stop that run game, because Kareem Hunt and Chubb, Nick
Yeah,
Chubb, are
the defense
fatal.
carries that team.
So I
defense
reckon
carries
it
that
is going to
team,
be like an
absolutely.
offense first. Like the.
I think it's going to be
run
an
game.
absolute shit game, to be honest.
Yeah,
But-
fair enough. I won't watch it.
Yeah.
And no, so he's expected to miss 6 weeks. He won't
Okay,
be
that's
back.
alright. That's alright.
It might be
Yeah.
a bit more difficult.
I
So
still
on
like but 4.5. Underdog at 4.5.
Yeah, fair.
on the contrary, I'm going for the Browns. So that's my.
Okay. Well. What's the next game? What do we got?
Okay, so next game, Monday 26th, 6 a.m., which for us New Zealanders is a holiday.
Mhm.
You've got Dolphins, Bills.
Okay. Point start here is 5.5. Bills are favourites by 5.5 points. I'm going to start with the Dolphins. Okay, here's what I think about the Dolphins. I think they're a dark horse this year. I think they're going to do better. They have started to do better than we thought they were going to do, than everyone thought they were going to do, and I think they are going to carry on to do a lot better than we think they were going to do. Tua is, I think, better than what everyone kind of thought. However, I'm going to say this now about the Bills, and I'm saying it early because I want to be able to brag when it happens. Bills are going undefeated this season, boys. That's my.
Really going all the way.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think Bills are going undefeated, at least undefeated regular season, and I think they're going to go Super Bowl. They might lose because they kind of tend to do that, but I think Bills here at 5.5, generous, undefeated team this year, dominant performances. They shut. And here's my thing about them. First week, obviously the Rams didn't look great, but they shut down Super Bowl champ and a great pass team. Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp. Yes, they put up yards and they did okay, but they shut them down on a passing fucking field, on a running field. Every part of that game, they were shut down. Then they play one of the top run teams and one of the top running backs in the league with Derrick Henry and the Titans, and they shut him down. What do you average? Like
1.5 yards per carry.
1.5 yards a carry on Derrick Henry? I'm sorry,
You can
but
fall forward further than that.
exactly. I'm saying Bills by a mile. I think this 5.5 is generous. They're going to win by at least a couple touchdowns or touchdown and field goal. I'm taking Bills minus 5.5 any day of the
You
week.
don't think the left arm tour is going to just say, fuck it, Waddle's down there somewhere?
That's also another thing. If you take away the end of that last game with the Dolphins, you'd be sitting here saying 5.5. Oh my god, that should be a fucking plus 10 on this.
That's true.
If you take away that last quarter or the last half of the last quarter where they were doing horrible, I think it's a different story completely.
Yeah, the Bills do seem like the more well-rounded team overall. But I feel like it is one of those cases that the Dolphins could come around and steal it from them.
Yeah.
But
After last week, it's definitely made it more of an interesting game, that's for sure.
But I don't think another team is going to let Tyreek run like he did last week at the end of that game. Like, obviously, every team's seen that and seen what happened and been, okay, number one priority here is deep threat. Like, come on. Without the deep threat at the end of that game, they don't have anything.
They've got Waddle to play with. Like they've
I mean, I know that's true, but-
They've got the gritty legend himself, Mike.
Like Gesicki?
And Gesicki's there as well. They do have a lot of weapons. It's just
Yeah,
whether,
I just don't think...
It's just whether the Bills are going to be able to shut them down. But it's also whether the Dolphins can do anything on defense against what is a fatal.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. I'm taking Bills minus 5.5 there. Grayson?
I think it's risky because like, it is big, but like I feel like 5.5's not enough. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Bills.
Bills minus
yeah.
5.5.
Yeah.
Kiefer?
Bills minus 5.5.
I think that's
absolutely.
an easy bet
Yeah.
there. Although to be fair, I wouldn't say it's a lock. I wouldn't take that as like one of my top 5 this week. To be honest,
No.
Sure.
I think there's better
Yeah.
value on the board.
Yep.
Next game.
Speaking of pin of value,
Next game.
Oh, this I love this.
Next game is the Jets and the Bengals.
Mhm,
Also, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, Grayson, I'll let you start this because I might have a differing opinion to you.
I mean,
Do the Bengals have an O-line? Like, does it exist?
They
if you can
spent-
find it,
Sorry,
please.
13 sacks in the last 2 games. 13.
That is the level that they had previously before Burrow got injured.
Yeah.
And like they tried to fix it. They got so far. They went out and tried to like compensate this year by getting
Yeah.
dudes for it. It hasn't worked out. They need to sort something out in order for that to be effective.
They lost to 2 teams. Who's
Yeah,
got the Bills?
We lost our back.
Shake it. Little pause. We'll get a little pause on that.
Okay.
Alright, we're back.
We're back.
We're back. Alright. Anyway, we're talking about... Oh, that's right. The sacks. 13 sacks. Last 2 games. They lost to 2 teams that... that after seeing 2 weeks, those 2 teams that lost to are struggling. They aren't good teams that lost to, looking at it now.
No.
My big thing is, obviously, Joe Burrow, Chase, Mixon. Can those 3 dudes carry that team to another win? And
They don't have enough time.
that's the problem. And Jets, I think they managed to get to Lamar Jackson twice last week, but you can't read into that because obviously Lamar Jackson runs a little bit, or he tries to shuffle forward in the pocket or try to get sacked. If he gets sacked or grabbed while trying to get out, that still counts as a sack.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to read into those 2 sacks. Flacco did look good against the Browns, no matter how much I said I don't like him in the first point.
There's a reason. There's a reason for that too. He's apparently got quite a charisma in the locker room with the younger guys.
Absolutely.
So he is like a vet guy, and he's got these young people around him, and he's rallying them to the point where it is kind of working.
Yeah, I think.
So whether they just can convert that, but against, actually, I reckon they probably could.
Against the Bengals.
I think the
At
big
the
thing that
moment.
scares me is the Jets' defense. They look atrocious. They don't look, well, not atrocious, but they don't look good. I think Joe Burrow and Chase and Mixon could actually exploit the Jets in their not great offense or defense. Sorry, but I think to be honest, point starters is Jets underdogs by 4.5. I'm taking the Jets plus 4.5. Maybe a bit of a controversial one, and people don't agree with that. But I'm taking Jets plus 4.5.
I reckon the defense is going to be an issue for the Jets. I'm going the other way.
You're going Bengals
Yeah.
minus 4.5.
Yeah, I reckon they can make it work.
Fair enough.
To break the tie.
What do you mean break the tie? Oh right, yeah.
It's a tie.
Yeah.
To break the tie, I couldn't find out how much they spent on their O-line, but they spent millions on their O-line. It's really funny to just see how it is. And before the season started, they were ranked 8th for the best O-line in the NFL.
Yeah, they got
at least on
scammed.
paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got majorly scammed. Scam likely.
I don't know.
So
I
to
don't
break
know if
the
they
tie-
don't have. Maybe they don't have starters or starting O-line, or maybe there's a couple guys
I'm not
injured that they
sure.
haven't been playing.
As
with.
a pro football podcast, we should probably know these things. But to break the tie, I'm going Bengals. I am just waiting for that offense to start cooking. And I think this might be the game to do it.
13 times in the past.
Yeah, and
Hey.
that's one of Joe Burrow's things. He gets sacked, he gets back up.
I mean,
Yeah,
otherwise he'd still be on the field, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be a
Alright,
security
well,
set, so.
And also their defense is what got them into the Super Bowl. And I think their defense will hold.
All right. Next game.
Next game. Alright. We have Titans and Raiders.
And
Also, 6 o'clock in the morning.
I think. Sorry, this is one of my locks of the week. This is a absolute value bet for the odds we've got. On here, we've got Raiders minus 1.5. They're favourites by 1.5. Give me the Raiders all day on that. That is a lock, an absolute lock. Take the bet. You see, none of this is gambling advice, by the way. Just do it at your own will. I don't give a fuck. Take the Raiders at minus 1.5. Sorry. If anyone disagrees with that, do you disagree with it?
You go to Grayson first.
Grayson, tell me what you think. Don't just point me here.
Right. Tannehill couldn't do anything in the last game.
Mm-hmm.
Their backup QB looked okay.
Yep.
But then again, at the same time, there was a lot of starters that came off on the Bills side. I reckon Derrick Henry could get something going against the Raiders. But then
Yeah.
again, you've got Max Crosby on the other side.
Yeah.
Great edge rush.
Yeah.
Could shut them down.
You got some smart linebackers on that Raiders side.
I'm talking a lot of shit, but go for the Raiders. All in on the Raiders. It's
Yeah,
like,
It doesn't make sense
yeah.
to go to the Titans
Yeah.
at the moment. They're on a losing streak.
They lost to the Cardinals, but they
Vrabel
dominated
doesn't
the
know what to
Cardinals
do
for
with
most
this
of that
team.
game.
It's I feel like at the moment, with the way they were pressured last time, Tannehill didn't really know what to do when he's got
Yeah.
so little time.
And also,
And the Raiders do have a solid overall team. So
that's
I
the
think
thing.
they
You
should be
look
able
at
to.
I think it was week 1 they had the Chargers. They had 6 sacks and 3 interceptions against the Chargers, and they narrowly lost. I just think even with getting sacked and throwing interceptions, and if they can just tidy up some little things and And I think that Devontae Adams, Derek Carr slowly get on the same level here. And I think that they're going to get stronger and stronger. I think Raiders.
We're best friends in
I
college.
did know that. I did know that.
I'm not sure if you knew that.
But it's just like Raiders minus 1.5. That is an absolute lock.
I mean, the announcers will let you know every time.
Every time.
Do you know that Max Crosby is a recovering alcoholic?
No,
crazy.
that's crazy.
Okay, but what are you last opinion? What are you saying on that?
Yeah, I'm also going for Raiders. The Titans have
Bandwagon.
not come out swinging as I think everyone thought
They haven't looked good at all.
They haven't looked good at all, and weirdly enough, the blame can't be put on anywhere rather than the whole unit.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry, he actually looks good. Ryan Tannehill isn't playing that badly, but just for whatever reason, it's not coming together.
No.
Yeah, it's not too good. So
Alright, easy lock on
Raiders,
that one.
Easy lock on that.
Easy lock on that.
So next up in the sketch is Panthers and Saints.
All right. I'll start here. They shut down the Bucs in that run game. Fournette got nothing going. They shut them down well. Their whole defense for most of that game played really well, up until Lattimore got ejected. They played.
Not really his fault though.
No, absolutely not. But they played really well. They had 2 fumbles lost. That's the thing. They lost 2 fumbles and had 3 interceptions, and I think they put up a good fight against the Bucs. To be fair, though, the Bucs had fuck all receivers and didn't look incredible. But
Tom Brady was angry.
Did a little tantrum. But I liked the Saints against the Bucs. Liked the Saints against the Bucs. My one thing that scares me is that they're going up against the Panthers. Actually, no, I take that back. It doesn't scare me, but they had 10 sacks allowed in the last 2 games. That's not great. And they only got 1 sack in the last 2 games. So I'm not too happy with their O-line or their D-line. But I think they can cook a little bit here. I think Kamara's back, actually, with the rib injury. Michael Thomas is looking good.
I think Kamara's questionable at the moment.
Well, I think he's supposed to be back, at least.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be back. Michael Thomas is looking good. Olave is looking good as a bit of a deep threat, and that's what I got on them. Panthers, I mean, come on. Baker looks absolute average at best. Christian McCaffrey's Christian McCaffrey. At the end of the day, he's going to be putting up numbers. He's going to be doing well. He's going to be rushing for yards, catching for yards. His routes look crispy. He looks good. I don't think the Panthers are good enough on either side of the ball to beat the Saints, though. Saints are -3 favourites here, and I'm taking the -3 or down the Saints. I think that's a good bet.
I'm seeing it the other way.
Wow.
I think this is a time where the Panthers can come into their own. You know, again they haven't. You're right. They haven't looked great.
Give it really quick. Look up who the Panthers played last 2 games. One was Giants and who else? Carry on, Greg.
It was the Browns.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the revenge game.
It was the revenge game.
Yep, you're right.
And
You're
Baker won. So, but again, it wasn't.
That Baker
Great.
didn't win.
Huh?
No, they lost.
Browns.
I know Browns won. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, they're a team that was supposed to do well this other season. They haven't done great, and again, the Saints are injured. They've got famous Jameis leading them. I don't know. I don't trust them enough in order to lead them to a victory. I'd rather put money on Baker at this point. He's pissed off.
Okay.
I reckon this could be a revenge game. It could turn around and just get him fired up. And,
Baker throws
For
3
three?
interceptions,
I'll take
fumbles
it.
once, and loses it. There's going to be a pick 6 for the Saints. Saints all day, baby.
Patriots Ravens, and I am a Patriots fanboy.
Patriots Ravens. What do we have here? Oh, that's right. The +3 underdogs. Ravens are -3. Patriots were lucky to win against a struggling Steelers offense and missing T.J. Watt. Lamar Jackson, he's just too good at the moment. He's fighting for his contract or fighting for his money, and he's getting it. He's performing incredibly well at every level. They got weapons on offense and a great defense too. I think this is criminal. Ravens -3 all day. That is a lock of the week. Another one.
Jacoby Myers is out for the Pats.
Mm-hmm.
They need their other 2 wide receivers to step up, and whether Aguilar and Parker can do so, it's very dependent on whether they're even going to do well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with the Ravens on that one.
-3 is criminal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to follow my heart, but I can't. The Ravens performed insane last week.
Who
still lost.
Who did the Ravens have? Yeah,
They still lost,
last
but
week.
The Dolphins.
Yeah, that's
Their
right.
performance was nuts, and I
Yeah.
think they're going to beat the Patriots quite easily.
Yeah, I think so too.
Would you call it a spanking?
No.
I'll call it a lock of the week.
You're a big fan of locks, aren't you? What about Drew Lock?
No, I don't want to talk
We'll
about it.
get there.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, next game. Also 6 a.m. Vikings, Lions. Game of the week.
I think it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be an absolute shootout. Both defenses haven't looked great. But the offensive have been absolutely shooting out. Last week, I think, was a bit of a 1 week mishap for the Vikings. I don't think it's going to happen like that again. The Lions aren't Bills.
Just can't play at prime times.
You can't play at prime times. I think it'll be a very interesting game. Lions are plus 5.5. That is very tempting because Goff and Brown just looking fucking nasty. But you did mention all the injuries that the Lions have this week, so far at least.
He's got Hutch out, Swift. Well, sorry, Hutch didn't practice, Swift didn't practice, and Hawkinson has a hip injury.
Yeah, not looking great. I think 5.5's tempting, man. It's not bad. My heart says Lions plus 5.5, but realistically, you got to go Vikings minus 5.5. But this could be an upset. I really think it could be.
I'm going Vikings.
Yeah,
They've got the weapons. The Lions' defense isn't good enough to stop the pass game. Jefferson's going to come back into his own, even though he got shut down last week by Darius Slay. But man,
they're trying to get Cook back into his rhythm more, and get him the ball more.
I just think it's going to work out better for the Vikings this week. As much as
this is one I would stay away from. I wouldn't really bet on this if I had the choice. Hey, look, homie, put a gun to my head, shoot to my egg. As I say, I wouldn't take this bet on either side. Keeper?
I'm going Lions all day. All day. They are the team.
You going Lions all day,
the team that can and the team that will.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lions all day. Next up, real exciting one. 6 a.m. Commanders and Eagles.
Yeah.
The one that everyone's tuning in for.
Everyone's waking up early for that one.
Washington has allowed 6 sacks past 2 games. Not horrible, but not great. They're just an okay team in every aspect. Defense,
the QB, which is shit.
Well,
He's below. He's not just okay. He's trash.
It's the Carson Wentz experience. I think he's in the top 3 of
He's
pass.
400 yards.
He's in pass leaders. He's one of the top 3 pass leaders of the league. It's the Carson Wentz experience.
Doesn't mean the team's good.
No, and the Eagles are really good.
And that's the thing.
They showed that.
Jalen Hurts looks amazing. He's looking like an MVP form, Jalen Hurts, at this point. I've concerns about their defense. I don't love their defense at the moment, to be honest.
The secondary is really good.
It is really good, but I don't know.
But then again, I don't think Washington's got a strong enough run game for it to be an issue.
Yeah, and I think last week, I don't know whether it was more of the Eagles doing like really well and like putting on a performance, or whether it was more of the Vikings not actually putting on a fight. I think it's more of the Vikings made them look a bit better than they actually were, and don't get me wrong, they played amazing, and the Eagles completely shut them out. They are 6.5 point favourites on this. And I'm still going to take the Eagles at minus 6.5. I think Washington will put up a fight, but 6.5. I'm going Eagles.
I might have to go the underdogs.
You got underdogs on that?
Yeah, just the plus 6.5 is just like, I think it's too big a margin.
Yeah.
So I think it is a safer one to.
Who do Washington have week? Who do they play?
Last
I
week.
don't even remember. Yeah.
Nobody watches the Commanders.
Nobody pays attention.
They played.
You can scroll up.
You got a
on
computer
your
in front of
laptop there.
Yeah, no, I was just trying to use my brain and remember it.
No, you got.
What are they? 0-2.
They're 0-2.
0-2. They played.
Jaguars.
They lost to Lions and lost to Jags. Yeah. 6.5. I'm taking Eagles. Keep it.
Wait. Oh no, yeah, Jaguars and Lions. Yep.
What are you taking? 6.5.
Ooh, Eagles. Their performance was nuts.
Yeah, it was good.
If you had to put a G to my H right now,
G to my H.
I would say it's a Eagles Bills Super Bowl. That's where I'm at. I think the Eagles
You're an idiot.
have got that done.
Okay, Mr. Fucking Packers, man.
So there's a G to the H.
G to the H. You're taking Eagles
Cool.
minus 6.5.
All
Yeah,
right.
I don't hate that.
I think this is probably an easier game.
The next one?
Yeah,
Oh.
I think
This is almost a lock.
We talk about this for longer than a minute. It's Colts and Chiefs at 6 o'clock.
Sorry, I'll read you my notes, right? So it's minus 6.5 favourites. Chiefs are minus 6.5 favourites. On one side I've got Colts. They drew with the Texans. The Texans in that game punted 7 times and they drew with them.
Yeah, everyone thinks the Texans
They
are a real
allowed-
fighting team.
They allowed 5 sacks against the Jags and proceeded not to score a point. 5 sacks against the Jags is bad. Especially when that O-line, you got Quentin Nelson. I don't know if he's injured or what the fuck where he's gone, but I don't know, he should be doing more. And then JT rushed, but this is the funny part. JT rushed for 160 yards against the Texans, and they still drew.
Yeah.
160. No, not rush. Did he rush for 160?
And that's because the Texans.
What do you mean scrimmage yards? 160.
The Texans didn't go for it as well. So they drew on
Yeah,
choice.
exactly. It's insane. And then on the Chiefs side, I just have written Chiefs by 1 million. Sorry, absolute lock of the week.
Okay.
I'm with the man who's got the locks down. So I'm gonna go Chiefs by 1 million. Solely because they've just. I feel like they haven't been playing amazing
No,
as
they
of late.
haven't.
But they're up against the Colts, who've been playing like absolute dog water.
Yeah.
And like JT can only carry them so much.
Exactly.
So yeah, I reckon Chiefs with Kelsey and the rest.
I mean, it's 6.5. I think easily.
Yeah, I think that is pretty easy. Yeah.
I think 6.5. For me, it isn't the sacks against the Jags. It's the fact they didn't put up a point against the Jags.
Yeah.
Not even a field goal. Like that's
Yeah.
nuts. So that's an easy lock. That's Chiefs all the way.
All right, next one.
Next game, Bears and
Are these still 6
Texans.
games or 9 a.m. games now?
This is the last 6 a.m. game.
Last 6 a.m. game?
Bears and Texans. I'm pretty sure everyone's tuning in for this one.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think
this
it'll be a
is one I
fun
want
game.
to tune in for.
I think it'll be a fun game. I really do. I think the Bears lost what they have last week, Packers, right?
Yeah.
I think they had a lot of shit play
Yeah, they did.
calls. I don't
Yeah.
think it was really Justin Fields' fault or the team itself.
Well, they weren't
really.
allowed to win either. They were playing their owner.
Yeah, right. They couldn't get any first downs. Third down calls were not great. I don't think they were as bad as they looked against the Packers. I think they're actually a better team than what they looked like. And Fields had a bit of an off game.
He's still in the middle of a rebuild, really.
Yeah, exactly. And Fields had a bit of an off game, but I think he'll come back. And David Montgomery, I think, is still a beast. Texans, they're an okay team. They're not incredible. They lost to a struggling Broncos team, a Broncos team that looks horrible. The Texans...
How loud do they want their fans to have the countdown for them, huh? The play clock needs to be called out by someone, and the fans have done the job.
And then in week 1, they draw where they hit very below average Colts. Now, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't think the point difference here is plus 2.5 to the Texans at 2.5 point underdogs. I think I'll take the Bears minus 2.5 there. I just don't think the Texans are good enough I think they're just okay in every aspect of the ball. Personally, I think Bears bounce back minus 2.5. I'll take that.
I reckon Dave Montgomery is going to run through them.
Yeah, that's another point.
That's what I'm thinking. They haven't really got Darnell Mooney going like I thought they would at the start of the season.
Yeah.
He hasn't really got the ball as much as he technically should, but like he has been double covered like a lot of the time. Yeah. So I think if against the Texans, who are like a subpar team just overall, like if they can get that going balanced with David Montgomery's run game, they're gonna just demolish them. So yeah, that's an easy lock of the week.
You're taking this as a lock of the week? That's one of your locks?
No, I'm joking, Bill.
Oh, okay. Don't joke about the locks, alright? I'm very serious about those.
I'm sorry, I won't touch your locks. But no, the Bears, I think that's going to be an easy win for them, to be honest.
Bears home, I'm pretty sure.
So my thoughts, Bears, Texans. Bears aren't doing as well as I think what they wanted to do. And then the Texans were kind of exciting when you heard about their off season, and they are not doing as well as anyone thought they would. I think it's the Bears all day. I mean, I was listening to the 18 podcast today, and Texans' slogan is, "We're in the NFL." So next up, Mimosa Hour games, 9 o'clock, we have the Chargers and the Jaguars.
Yeah, like I was alluding to before, this is an interesting game for me. It's +7. The Jags is a whole touchdown underdogs. I think if the Chargers didn't have Justin Herbert going into this, I'd be more tempted to take that +7 on the Jags, to be honest. But it looks like Herbert is going to be back for this game. They're a solid team. Their defense is sick. Herbert has potential to play week 3. I think he's looking like he is going to play week 3.
Yeah. He's limited, but he may play.
Don't get me wrong, I'm very excited for the Jags. I think they're a very exciting team, and I can't wait to see how they build on what they have this year. Because this year they're looking okay, they're looking pretty good.
Yep.
I can't wait to see how they build on that.
Yep.
Obviously, the run game's a big part of the Jags kind of team, and they aren't going to have that against the Chargers. They're really not.
No.
And +7 is tempting.
So they got in the middle of the Chargers defense. They've got Khalil Mack in the middle, don't they?
No, they got Khalil Mack on one side of the O line,
Right.
D line,
D-line.
and then Bosa on the other side.
Yeah.
Like it's just
It's
they get a mental amount of sacks.
Yeah.
I would be tempted if they didn't have Herbert because Chase Daniels, but it looks like they are gonna have Herbert. I gotta take Chargers -7 here, even with the -7. I think it's still Chargers.
yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I like it. I think the Chargers are doing well enough that they could cover that. The Jags again, they've been doing all right. I don't know. The 7 is rough though.
It's hard.
It is hard.
Yeah.
I'd almost change my mind solely on that. So I might fuck it, Jags.
You taking Jags?
Yeah, why not?
All right.
Yeah, this game is tricky because Chargers going to charge, right? They're going to
Yeah.
do really well and then fuck it up in the quarter, or do really bad, then warm up and not catch up. So, the whole 7, the whole touchdown is a tricky one.
I still take
Actually,
Chargers.
changed my mind.
Okay.
You back to Chargers?
I'm pretty sure who's coming back for the Chargers.
Pretty much everyone.
Pretty much everyone,
Yeah.
Keenan Allen, I don't think is.
No, I think he might be.
He's limited, but
Yeah.
we don't.
Well, anyway, like
If,
even
if Keenan
with Mike.
if Keenan Allen's back, I'm changing my mind. But like at the moment, Jags.
Okay, keep it. Final
uh,
decision.
Chargers.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I like the Chargers. Well, I like the
That's
Jags
fine.
too. It's
Let's
hard.
see
I
how
like
it is.
both those teams. At 9:25, second mimosa hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
roll them in.
We've got the Cardinals and Rams.
I think there's an interesting one. Rams are favourites by 3.5. They kind of the Falcons kept up with them for a little while there in that Falcons game. The Falcons looked pretty meh. They had no run game with Cordero Patterson.
But it's
They
also,
still
it's also the Falcons. It's
exactly
Trope
right.
City.
It's the Falcons, and they still kept up with the Rams to some extent.
Yep.
I think the Cardinals last game were lucky to win against the Raiders. They got lucky.
Yep.
Kyler Murray clutched up in the last quarter. Then they were lucky to win in the overtime.
Kyler Murray turned X Factor.
They didn't look great. I think this game could go either way, but and there's nothing. Stafford's done 5 interceptions in the past 2 games. He led the league last year in interceptions. I think this could go either way, but I think Cooper Kupp too strong. I can't go against Kupp, to be honest. I'm taking Rams -3.5 on that.
I'm going the other way. I'm going Cardinals. JJ Watt's got that defense fired up. It's Kyler again. It could just be heroics, but I feel like he did step up last week. Their run game's real decent. I think they could.
James Conner might be out.
I know.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay.
We make it work.
Yeah.
I feel like as it was said, I've been watching some videos on that. As long as Kyler can make smart decisions when he extends those plays, if he extends it and it just wastes a lot of time and it just makes for dumb situations where they do lose ground or lose the ball, sure. But if he plays smart when he is extending the plays, I think it could be enough to beat the Rams, who at the moment are looking a bit iffy compared to what they have
I
done
think, the Rams look iffy, but
previously.
I'm still taking them -3.
I'm taking Cardinals.
This is a real tricky one. I'm not a fan of either of the teams, to be honest.
But you're a
Depends
fan
on
of football, and that's all
I'm
that
a fan of
matters.
football. It depends on how much Kyler studies. Did he put in the tape this week?
Okay. Yeah.
Because of their off season just being an absolute joke, I'm going to go for the Rams instead of the Cards.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Because the Cards make me annoyed. Cool. Next one.
Best betting odds advice.
We've got Buccaneers and Packers.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. They've made it pretty even on this. It's -1.5 Bucks
Oh, wow.
favourites. Yeah, favourites by -1.5.
Okay.
Just want to start off by saying the Packers don't do well in Florida.
Okay, actually, no. Let's start with Grayson. Let's start with Grayson.
It's Grayson's
big
team,
Packers
so
fan.
big
Big
Packers
Packers fan. I want to hear his.
Right, so my father, Aaron Rodgers, played really
Yeah.
he played really well last game. He's come back into his own. They've got the run game going. They've got Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. They smashed through the defense of the Bears, but then, again, the Bears played a bit trash last week. Dave Bakhtiari, I don't think he's going to be back.
That's what I put. I was wondering if he's going to be
He
back.
did not
I
practice.
don't think he's going to be back yet.
Randall Cobb's out with an illness.
He didn't really factor in enough. I think they've got enough on the offense with Lazard back, and then I reckon they're going to use Christian Watson a bit more. I think they've got enough that their offense, with Aaron Jones, he can play out of the backfield. I think the offense is going to be explosive. Their defense, their secondary defense is one of the best in the league, and as long as their D line can step up, I reckon that D will be really good. The Bucks are missing a few factors, so I don't really keep up as much with the Bucks this week, but in terms of it, I think the Packers could do really well.
Okay. I've got I've kind of gone the other way here. I think David Montgomery against the Bears. Obviously, the Packers dominated the Bears last week, but the Bears still had David Montgomery 15 carries, 122 yards. That's not a lot of carries, a lot of yards. I think he averaged 6.8 or something like along those lines. Bakhtiari's not back. They have a questionable receiving core with more guys out injured. They have a nice run game, but at the end of the day, I think it could go either way. I did see Fournette might be out though. He's had a limited practice at the moment. But they have good backups anyway. So
who have they brought in? Who have they brought in the receiving core?
Exactly, that's another thing as well. If they elevate old Cole Beasley to the main team and put him on the roster, bro, him in the slot, I think he's going to dominate. I think that's going to be cool to see. I think with the Cole Beasley, I think the Bucs' run game could dominate the Packers. I think at the end of the day, that could be what wins in the game. They control the ball, control the clock, and get yards and first downs and everything. Brady's Brady. You can't bet against Brady. They were dominated in total yards last week. The Bucs were against the Saints. And that's also another thing. They sacked their opponents 10 times in the past 2 games. The Bucs did. That's 10 sacks in 2 games. I think that's huge. Florida home game as well. I'm taking Bucs minus 1.5 there. Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be the offense that does it for them, though. If anything, it's going to be that defense with Antoine Winfield and the rest on that defense.
I don't know.
If they can break through the line that they have previously against the Packers O-line and get Rodgers uncomfortable, that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think they're going to get the ball a lot more than the Packers have the ball because of their defense, and I think that they have enough on offense if Cole Beasley get elevated and their run game to dominate on offense too. That's my opinion. Kiefer, what do you reckon?
Bet on Brady, just going Bucks. It's very even.
Yeah, it could go either way, really.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. There's a lot of injuries on both sides, and we don't know who's playing, who's not playing yet. So
Florida home game, very warm. Those Lambo boys.
Lambo boys.
Those Lambo boys don't know about the warmth.
It's fine. No.
Okay.
But we might have to start.
The Lambo.
That sounds great.
Bucks minus 1.5, easy.
Okay. Next
Packers.
game. Still Mimosa Hour, 9:25. Seahawks and Falcons.
This is an interesting one. 49ers last week against the Seahawks had a total of 189 rushing yards. That's a lot of rushing yards. The thing is, though, Geno still looked good. The whole offense of Seahawks still looked good. Geno compared, I think, was 24 out of 30. That's a great stat line. The key point is the defense getting the ball back for the offense and Geno taking a few more risks. He took one deep shot to DK. DK made an incredible catch in almost double coverage, but it got ball back for a flag. That could have been a game changer right there. They were down by, I think, 7 at the time, or maybe 14 at the time. Another one, they went for a trick play on 2nd and 5 at the goal line, and it got intercepted because DJ Dallas threw the ball at pick 6. Well, not pick 6, but it went for a pick. I think there were simple things that really made it go the other way. I think it should have been and could have been a lot closer than it was. I think, Pete Carroll said about Geno in a press conference recently, I think yesterday or today, that he wants Geno to buy into the offense. He wants Geno to actually do a bit more. Recognize you have DK one-on-one deep down the field. Just take a shot. Trust DK to go up and get the ball. It might add an interception or a -1 to your completions, but take the shot. You got DK, a 6'4", muscly dude, downfield on one-on-ones. I think Pete Carroll wants him. What?
Pinging on Skittles and whatever else he hits.
He wants Geno to take more shots and trust the offense more. I think with that offense, I'm pretty sure it's a home game for the Seahawks too. The defense is okay. I think if they can just do a little bit more. Falcons, for me, they're disappointing. They've been disappointing this whole time. Cordero Patterson scares me in his run game against the Seahawks because he's a great runner. He's a great back. That scares me. But Mariota's not the guy, in my opinion, for the Falcons. And I think this could be a Seahawks game, especially when you've got a quarterback like Mariota at a home game for the Seahawks. One of the worst teams to play at home because of the decibel and how loud it is. You can't hear snaps. You can't hear the quarterback. Seahawks are -1.5 favorites. They're pretty even. I'm taking Seahawks -1.5.
I would love to piss Cree off and go the other way.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to. I reckon the Seahawks, the Falcons, they just don't have enough. Again, yeah, they've got Cordero Patterson. And I guess that's about it at the moment, really.
Yeah.
Like, the pass game isn't strong enough for their weapons to actually have play a factor. Patterson can play out of the backfield, but again, Mariota is, I don't think, strong enough to
I think he's not the
utilize
guy,
that.
right?
So, Seahawks.
So I'm gonna go the opposite way. I'm going
You
to
just
I'm
love to hate the Seahawks, don't you?
He just likes the other bird.
It's just like the other bird. I like the Falcons. I think Mariota is doing actually a pretty good job.
So you don't check the stat lines. This guy does.
Yeah, I don't need to. I think he's doing a pretty good job.
He's alright.
He does have some weapons on the offense. He's got Kyle Pitts. He's got Drake London, who's been putting in work. And then their running games can be pretty strong as well. I think if it all comes together, I think they'll be the better
Like
team.
they play as a football team.
I think
They play as
the
a
thing for
football
me. The thing for me is the -1.5, right? So it's pretty even, right?
Yeah.
I think a home game for the Seahawks against an average bird team, I don't. There's no way I could even. I would take that.
Would you
personally.
consider bringing out Drew Lock for this game?
Yeah.
To make it a
No.
real lock of the week.
That's the thing. Gino's been slinging it too. He looks good.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
taking Seahawks -1.5, and you're
okay.
delusional. You're delusional.
I'm good.
Seahawks are the playoffs, baby. Watch it happen.
It's not happening.
Not happening. Alright, next game. And we're out of Mimosa Hour and into the day drink hour. 1:20. We have Broncos 49ers.
Yeah. Broncos 49ers. Broncos are underdogs actually in this by 1 point. At least when we had the odds up. 1 point. Broncos look like hot garbage. Look like shit. They were projected a potential Super Bowl team going into the year with the additions they made on the off season and getting Russ and just how they looked and how the team was feeling. They looked like a potential Super Bowl team. They looked like shit. They looked fucking horrible. They struggled against the Seahawks, then struggled against the Texans, and now against the 49ers, they're playing a team that's better on offense and better on defense than both of those teams. I just don't see, and also especially Nathaniel Hackett, their play calling, dog shit, horrible. People want to fight already. They're literally booing their own team when they fucking go out in a home game. I just don't think they can beat the 49ers at all, let alone a -1, Jimmy G's back. I think he is going to be a better quarterback than Trey Lance could have been. I think I appreciated what they were doing with putting Trey Lance in, trying to get him the year of experience. That's the risk you got to run when taking a running quarterback. You're going to take the risk of him getting injured in one game, a season-ending injury, right?
Just on that note, the head coach or the offensive coordinator of the 49ers has a bad track record of his quarterbacks getting injured. Just with the way it's structured. So it's happened multiple times now.
Damn.
And
So maybe they need to look at that as well.
There was my one thing kind of looking at this that made me want to go a little bit against the Niners is that you've just brought Jimmy G back. You spent your whole offseason getting ready to have a new running quarterback. A quarterback's completely different to Jimmy G, really. And so you would have rewritten your entire offensive scheme around a quarterback who could do more with the ball and run, and So now you've got Jimmy G back. All of a sudden, you just boom. You switch back to your old play calling and your old. I think it's going to take a little bit of transition, and he didn't look. He wasn't incredible at the end of last game when he played, when he had to replace or start of the game at least when he replaced Trey Lance. He didn't look incredible, but I think he looked solid. And I think getting Debo back in his right spot as being a receiving back, as
Kittle
they
could be
call
back
him.
in.
Huh?
Kittle could be back.
Kittle could be back. I think 49ers by a mile here. I think honestly this might be another one of my last locks of the week, to be honest.
Locks of the
I think
week,
49ers smoked them. I really think they do.
Yeah, it's the Niners all the way, I think.
Yeah.
Especially if they get Kittle back on the field,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
they've had chemistry before. Jimmy G's had the experience at the end of last year. They went on a nice run.
it's a playoff caliber team, right?
It is.
With Jimmy
it is.
in the end.
So I think the Broncos just haven't had it. I don't know what it is. Again, there's big calls for Nathaniel Hackett to.
They
get
want
kicked
him
out the door.
gone.
But at the same time, he has the experience, and it's obviously just he's played with different quarterbacks to us before.
Yeah.
Because he's been a quarterbacks coach for the likes of Aaron Rodgers or whatever, which they play differently. So it's whether he has to adapt his style and cater for a rounded team thing rather than what he's used to. He just needs to step up real quick. Or the Broncos are in deep trouble.
Absolutely.
Niners. That's what I'm taking.
Niners -1. Easy money.
Yeah, Niners all day. I think the offense looks stronger with Jimmy G there. That is going to dust off their old playbook and just start up again.
That's the
as
thing.
they were
Back with Jimmy G, they're now not a transitioning team.
Nah, just
They're
carry on.
back to their playoff looking team.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that, and yeah, I think the Broncos, they've got a lot of work to do, and I do think they maybe will get there. It's just not this game. It won't be this game.
Yeah, I think they're gonna make a run at the end of the season. It won't be enough, but you know.
And moving on to one of the matchups where it's got one of the undefeated teams at the moment.
Yeah, this is an interesting
so
one, man.
Last game is on Tuesday, 1:15. So watch it at work, and you've got Giants Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, you got to start with Giants are the favorites in this undefeated team. They're the favorites like 2.5. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one. I don't know who wrote these odds. I mean, I could be getting this completely fucking wrong. What? No, I'm not saying the odds wrong. I'm saying I could be getting
what are the odds?
Oh, it's -2.5 for the Giants. So they're not huge favourites, but they're still favourites. I think they barely what by field goal, bet the struggling Titans team. Saquon carried them. I'm scared about the Cowboys' defense absolutely fucking demolishing that offense of the Giants. You got Micah Parsons. You got some Trayvon Diggs, obviously.
That's that one. And we'll finish off with solely audio.
Yeah, okay. Finish off with just the audio. I'm just scared. They allowed 8 sacks over the last 2 games, and now they're going up against one of the best defensive teams in the league. The defense of the Cowboys looks incredible. Cooper Rush, I'm not the guy, but he
What
doesn't
do you
look.
mean? It's Cooper Cush, buddy.
Doesn't look horrible. They probably won't have Dalton Schultz this game, but Michael Gallup might be back. It's going to be a close game. Daniel Jones is going to throw 3 interceptions. Cowboys D is going to win the game for them. I am taking Cowboys, especially plus 2.5 on the Cowboys. I will take that all the way to the back.
Are those interceptions a lock too?
That's my last lock of the week, Davey.
Alright, yeah, I have to agree, but like also the Giants, I feel like they could do something. Like they're on a roll. I feel like Saquon might do enough to get through them. Micah Parsons is a bit terrifying. I don't know whether it's going to give Daniel Jones enough time to actually make decisions.
8 sacks, 2 games.
Wait,
They barely beat a struggling Baker
know,
Mayfield.
I know. But they're on a run, and I think it's one of those things with momentum with a football team. Like, if you get on a run, it could be enough to push them through that. Their defense is actually okay, but again, is it enough? So I'm actually going to take the Giants.
Daniel Jones is choking miserably this game.
Daniel
3
Jones
interceptions.
Daniel Jones
He's
is just a whiter Kirk Cousins.
big run, stumble, ball gets hit out. He's going to go off injured. They're going to bring in their backup. Cowboys plus 2.5. Easy. Keep it.
Giants.
-2.5.
I'm going Giants.
What?
Giants are on a
You
money.
guys are delusional.
They
There
go
was
all
a
the way to
lock
Super
of the
Bowl,
week.
baby.
There was a lock of the week, and you're going against it. There's no way. Cowboys plus 2.5.
I'll tell you this much, bud. That's my lock of the week.
Oh,
No way.
He's
No,
had one, and
no.
he's used it on the Giants.
No, I already used mine on the the Lions.
Oh, God, there we go.
That is not a lock.
Yeah. Well, there we go.
That's it.
That's a week in football coming up. Super exciting.
How much money are you going to drop on these games?
Football's
Already
back,
done it.
baby.
Well, you've already done it.
Yeah. I'm good at my locks. I think I have a 7-game multi for 7 games. I put $10 on that, and then I took down and kind of got out the edgy ones, and went I think for 5, and I put another multi for another one.
Nice. I'll get around to mine tomorrow, I think.
Yeah. And let us know what you guys think about what our picks were and our opinions on teams, and if you agree with certain things.
If you disagree, you're wrong. You're
I am,
wrong.
I don't
We don't want to
know.
hear it.
I want to know what anyone else thinks, and yeah, just give us your opinion. Give us your lock of the week in the comments
Yes,
section.
I want to know the lock of the week. So to end this podcast off,
Yeah.
I want one game. Just
One?
one.
You
I
want one?
One lock of the week.
Oh,
That's
easy.
guaranteed
Yep.
to
Got it.
win you some dollary dues.
Easy.
Don't take this advice verbatim.
It's not gambling advice. It's not
It's not
gambling
gambling
advice. It's
advice.
what I'm gonna do. You shouldn't do it.
So
But what I'm gonna
what
do.
is your lock of the week?
There's a very obvious one here for me. Ravens 3.5. Ravens minus 3.5 against Patriots. I think the Ravens are gonna win by 10+. So 3.5 is generous. I'll take that. Easy. Lock. That's my lock.
Oh no, I was gonna take that one.
I mean, you can still take
No,
that,
actually, I'm
obviously.
gonna go Bears over the Texans.
Oh yeah.
What
Yeah.
are the odds on those? What are the odds on those? Where are
Minus
they?
2.5
Where are they?
Bears. I reckon that's my
Minus
lock of the
2.5
week.
Bears. Yeah, I like that.
I'm gonna go for. Let's
Yeah.
see here.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
I mean, there's quite a few.
Yeah.
Oh, Bills.
What's the Bills one?
Bills.
5.5
Fair
for
enough.
the
Yeah,
Dolphins.
that's
Fair
an easy
enough.
one. I think the Dolphins are good, but I think the Bills are just on some next level.
And
Yeah,
that's
I
your.
agree.
Lock of the week.
That's the one.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and so next week we'll do it again, but I reckon we have a draft order. So if you got the worst lock, then you can't.
You can't talk first.
Yeah, you can't. That's it. No, you can't talk.
Wow, that's fucked up,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
You're
it's
just
crazy.
getting all my
You're,
fucking locks
that
right.
is the least.
Okay.
Alright, let us know what you think. Let us know who your lock is. Let us know who you're betting on, what your multi is. Any college games, let us know. I'm interested.
Football is back, baby.
Football's
Enjoy it.
back.
Football
Football's
is back.